So I started in 2009. In July 2009, I opened up my salon, and I was a mobile therapist traveling from one client to the next, and it was great. But yeah, I was very excited in 2011 when I opened up my first salon-based space where clients came to, and I was doing everything from, the full treatment menu of beauty treatments. And just as the years have gone on, I have met some amazing people that I've collaborated with, and they do the skincare and massage and nails. And I took on the wonderful world of lash extensions, became very popular in Durban, and I've had such fun with it. So now I specialize in waxing and lashes, and have also done microblading. So yeah, that's what we do at the salon. It's great. So I specialize in lash extensions and waxing. I'm so unbelievably blessed. I've got the most incredible clientele, and I think having been in business for the last almost 11 years now, business was good, and we were really busy. I was excited about 2020. I had some great plans. My 2020 was, for me, it was clear vision. That was what the idea I had. I knew the direction I wanted to take my business. And so, yeah, it was very good. People have come to know me as a bit of a, what is Claire up to now type of entrepreneur. And I was actually, it's funny we're having this chat because I posted on Facebook yesterday or a couple of days ago that I'm actually want to start a business called All Sorts because so much inspires me. Like I said to you earlier, I love being an entrepreneur, and I love connecting with other entrepreneurs. I love seeing what different products are out there and what can be sold, and what people enjoy, what the trends are. And so I've tried so many different things, and people are kind of, maybe it's a bit confusing because it's like all over the place. So my goal now, and what I'm busy working on at the moment, is to streamline that into a platform that builds a brand around promoting other small businesses owned by small business owners, and where they can come to that one platform and find all sorts of awesome things. I don't want it to be geared towards only beauty. I want it to kind of be what inspires me, what I love, because I can't sell something I don't believe in. And I'm really excited about it. It's happened quite quickly, obviously, because we are engaging with people on a one-on-one basis. And right from sort of the second week of March, which was quite close towards this SA lockdown anyway, we really started to get clients started to cancel their appointments. And it was starting to sort of dawn on us that this was, because obviously the talk of an official lockdown hadn't really come up yet. But as the clients were starting to cancel, and they were our clients that weren't like our very regular ones. So obviously the clients that know us well, they know how pedantic we are about our sterilization. They still felt comfortable to come, even though the media was starting to paint a very dramatic picture, not to downplay how scary COVID is at all. But they really started to feel that they should start perhaps distancing from things that weren't essential as such. But in saying that, it was an insane time leading up to the close-up, because I think it also dawned on them that, oh my gosh, how long am I going to be without lashes for, and whatever. So everyone was like, we were crazy busy that last week when the lockdown was announced, because I think everyone, and it just kind of seemed crazy because people were scared of the virus, but they were so scared of being without us. So where we aren't deemed essential, I realized how essential we were, because the main concern was not how they looked. It was going to be, how am I going to feel without having my wax or having my lashes done? Because it just helps you feel good as a woman to look good. It makes you feel good. And being the fact that our business cannot be online, it was really just shutting our doors, and it was very, very dismal and disheartening feeling that dawned over me as I was watching other businesses prepare for coping online and taking their businesses in a new direction and thinking out the box. But how do we do lashes online and all that? And it was tough. And my first thought was, what else am I good at? How else can I be online so that I can earn an income? And my entrepreneur mind started to think, okay, you know how it goes, the brain doesn't switch off. And because it's part of, it's not what I specialize in, but I do often reflexology at my salon, and have done like one-on-one meditations with clients through my years. I've been so blessed to be in spaces with clients where they really need just help and someone to listen. And so I thought, you know what, perhaps I should start offering an online meditation. We can do meditation classes. And I'd struggled with it because I didn't really want to charge for it, but it was more for our minds to stay connected with our clients and to see where they were at. So I started out the first week really well doing these online. I even made a Facebook page and an Instagram called Faithful Meditation. But after 4 days of trying to be there for everybody, I realized how bad I was. So I had to scrap that idea because I knew I wasn't going to be able to sustain it. It was too emotionally draining for me. So then I also like to write. I'm busy writing a book, and I thought, well, I love telling stories and writing stories. So I started another Facebook page called The Imagination Station. And the Imagination Station was to gear myself towards children, where we could write poems together and stories together and tap into their awesome little minds and have some fun with writing. And I actually did very well with that for the first couple of weeks. And it was really amazing. And it, again, kept my mind going and kept me full of hope, because for the salon, I still couldn't do anything. I made some videos for clients, like how to look after their skin because now that we're going to have to shave, not wax, how to care for their lashes as the lashes were starting to come off, so they wouldn't pull and pick and damage their lashes. So I even microbladed myself. I did my own microblading and made a tutorial, not around how to do it yourself, but what the process entailed, so they could see what it was like in the salon. But again, none of those things made money. It just helped keep me connected with my clients. So there wasn't much to prepare for, unfortunately. Lockdown is something, obviously, it's something new for all of us. It's affected people in so many different ways. I've journeyed with clients, they've journeyed with me. We've really just, I think when you're at work and you're connecting with your clients, like, you still are doing business at the end of the day. And now we've kind of been put into a space where now we're all just people with emotions and we're struggling. And I'm not perfect. Because, people tend to think as therapists, perhaps, because our job seems to be like lots of fun doing what we do, and it is. But we also have real life going on in our own lives. And so it's been such a blessing. I have been so overwhelmed by the generosity and the kindness from our clients there. And it really makes me a little bit emotional at what people have done for me and for my colleagues has been amazing, despite the hard in their own lives. And they've still honored what we do. And even if it was 50 Rand that they sent, it was just, if it had been 5 Rand, I would have really appreciated it, because every little bit helps. But even though they financially helped us, just the kindness and checking in and asking how we were, all of us, Delia, Lindy and I were just blown away by the kindness of our clients and their thoughtfulness, and sharing our pages and trying to get people to follow us and walk our journey. And it's really been amazing. So yeah, very grateful, very grateful. it has been next level. I don't even know how to put into words the impact it has had on our industry. You know, a lot of people that work in my industry are single moms, or perhaps even single dads, and are the breadwinners in their home. And of course, when we don't work, we don't earn any money. And it's as simple as that. I had this experience in February last year when I had hip surgery and I was unable to work for 2 months. And that was hectic because I realized how when you sell your time for money, it limits you greatly because you have to be physically present with that person when you offer that kind of service. So of course, lockdown has just been the ultimate killer in our industry because we physically can't be with our clients, nor could we offer it online because we need to physically be present with you. So John, it's been, I've watched my colleagues in the industry, people that I don't even know, but just the Facebook posts and the chat, and half the tears that I've cried, because I have to be honest, I'm very blessed with a family that's just been there for me, for clients, but there's a lot of people that don't necessarily have access to Wi-Fi and all that, so they can't connect with other people while they're in lockdown. You know, they live out in the more rural area, and so not only are they grieving the loss of their business, but they can't connect. And as a therapist, our daily job is to connect with people. It's what we do. It's what we live for. It's why we do what we do. You know, every single job, when you decide on your career path, you've got to look at your red hot why and say, why have I chosen this vocation? Why do I want to be an accountant, for example? And when you choose to be a therapist, a beauty therapist, let's say, or a hairstylist or a tattoo artist, we connect with physical touch. And so we are definitely the hugging part of the population. And this has been taken from us in such a big way. And it's going to change what we do forever because people are going to perhaps always have a sense of fear around this virus. I hope it changes, but it may never. And so we have to do our best to make sure that we make our clients feel safe when we go back to work. And that's what we've all committed to. If you look online and the chats that our community is having worldwide, it's very possible for us to continue our connections with people in real life and still keep them safe. And I think that's been the biggest sadness of all, is that there's been industries going back to work that are not as stringent and vigilant as we are. You know, we wear masks on a daily basis. I've worn a mask for 10 years when I work. It's nothing new to me. And I know I can vouch for many other therapists that wear masks, or we sterilize constantly. It's a thing. So it's nothing new for us, this concept. So I think it's just been quite a violation on the importance of what we do. And we've had to play our part and stay home, but it's really, it takes a big part of who you are away. So we've had WhatsApp video calls and chats, and I have to say there's been times where I think, gosh, I really should be messaging and checking in more. But as I mentioned earlier, I've also been on a journey, and I've been so mentally invested from the roller coaster that is the COVID lockdown, that I probably could be doing better and connecting. But yeah, WhatsApp video calls, Zoom meetings, just popping people a WhatsApp. I've really tried to be obedient to my heart, that when someone comes into my mind, I pop them a message and say, I'm just thinking of you. Because it's not always about a 2-hour video call that people need. They just need somebody to know that they're being thought of, and when I've received those messages from clients, just a little picture, you know, with an inspirational quote, it's always come at just the right time. And it's about, I think, being obedient to listening to your heart when someone pops into your mind. And I really hope that I continue to do that post-lockdown, because it's been very special to connect in that way. We are so blessed with technology these days, and it's so easy to make someone feel loved, actually, if you can't be with them in person. So that's been cool, yeah. With short and long term, what I've realized through lockdown is that when you have to be physically present in order to continue making an income, it's just simply not sustainable. So from a long-term perspective, I really do need to figure out, how am I going to still be able to earn an income that when I get sick, God forbid another lockdown doesn't happen, whatever it is that comes up in life that causes things to say, you can't work today, what am I going to do? Because it's not sustainable to keep, because life is going to keep happening. Something else is going to come up one day that's going to stop me from working. Or even when I go on holiday, I want to earn money while I sleep. You know what I mean? Like, that's passive income is where we should really ultimately aim for. And I think we feel so stuck in the idea of how we earn an income as therapists. Yes. And when I talk about therapists, I just like everyone to know that I speak of hairdressers, makeup artists, nail techs, tattoo artists, the whole lot, okay? But you know, how are we going to do this long term? Because the world as we know it has changed. And so for the short term, when lockdown ends, we're going to go back to doing what we do. But I really just want to encourage everybody in the back of their minds that they start to think outside the box. And how am I going to make my passion and what I do work for me in the long term, so that when another crisis hits, we are not left feeling completely in the desert. Faith, family, and resilience. So with this, it's been really rough. You know, you sit there and you watch the news and suddenly 500 billion rands available, and you know that you're not going to see a sense of that. And the scariest thing is that I realized, you know, we have UIF in South Africa, and as a small business owner, a sole prop, you don't think to pay UIF for yourself. And I thought, maybe I'm stupid. Like, how did I miss the memo? How could I be so irresponsible? I pay my taxes and all that, but I've never registered myself for UIF. So I called my financial advisor and I said to her, why am I not doing this? Like, I'm not going to see any money from the government to help me through this time. And she said, Claire, I can't tell you how many people have phoned me and asked me the same question. And it seems that a massive number of us have never, those that have employees have paid UIF for them and they're fine. But for the business owner themselves, they didn't have UIF. And so unfortunately, we didn't qualify for any of those relief packages. And it blew my mind. You know, there was a sense of like, well, how did I not know? Like, why did I not pay for that for myself? But as a sole prop, you don't, because I don't know, I suppose I just thought I would always be okay for myself because I didn't have employees to look after as such. And that really got me thinking, and I thought, you know, there's all my friends, we were kind of on a chat and we were discussing this and just feeling so disheartened and encouraging one another about the fact that we weren't going to see a sense of that money. And I came up with this idea to do a raffle. So I got together there were 9 of us, including me, and I set up a raffle, and it was just, you know, I really had no idea where it would lead to, but the girls were excited about it because it kind of just gave us something to do and to banter around and take our minds off the depression of not earning anything. And so we each decided we were going to give away one of our best treatments that were valued. I mean, the prizes were amazing, and we were going to raffle off the prizes, and then however much we had in the pool at the end of it, we would just split evenly between the 9 of us. And it was mind-blowing how it was received by our clients and the public. It kind of did very well on Facebook and Instagram and all that, through people we didn't even know. And I ran that raffle for 2 weeks, and at the end of it we raised almost 25,000 rand. And so split between 9 people, it's not an awful load of money. It's certainly not going to pay the bills, but it's certainly going to buy a few bags of groceries or pay for a medical aid or a car, even just a life policy that you're just too scared to cancel. And the girls, but more so about the funding, it just filled us with so much hope. I can't explain. It was so beautiful to watch these girls just feel so encouraged by that kind of support, and we were so grateful. It was really, really amazing. It's going to be very interesting to see what direction everyone takes their businesses in, but I think first and foremost, and I'm talking about businesses that really follow the code of conduct of sterilization and hygiene, because we all know in all industries there's people that cut corners and don't prioritize the importance of keeping our clients safe. And it blows my mind what I've seen online, that it's like something new, that some people are like, oh, I can't believe I have to wear a mask now when I work, and or like change sheets between each client. And I think to myself, wow, why weren't you doing that before? Like, what kind of business are you running? We're dealing with people here. And so I think going forward, people are really going to relook at how they have run their businesses and the importance that they've placed on the hygiene, and perhaps finding different ways. But because we're such a contact business, and you see these perspex screens and things that are going to come between us so that we don't, and yes, there's a place for that for the short term when we get to go back to work, but long term, that's just not what we're about. We cannot keep screens up. I mean, it goes against everything that we do, and I'll be devastated to think that would be the way our industry would evolve, to have a screen between us. It's just, wow, like I would definitely not want to be in that. But that's the scary part, is that what's going to be expected? Are the clients going to prefer that? And obviously we want to keep our clients happy, so for as long as they need a screen, or perhaps it's just something that's an option. So those clients that feel comfortable to not have a screen, that because they want that human touch, they want to connect, that we remove it when it's obviously safe again, once we feel like it's safe, and maybe that could only be 2 years from now, but also just to have it as an option. And I think to be more aware of chatting to your clients and paying more attention to what they want, because we just in the environment every day, and we're so used to our workspace, and it's important to conduct surveys. I think very important. I did a survey a few weeks ago. I was so blown away by the response. It was extremely helpful, and one of the things that came up was that the clients wouldn't be offended if I asked them to bring their own linen with to the salon, for them to lie on their own pillow, their own toweling, and then they take that home with them, because even though I changed towels in between each person, I'm still going to be taking those germs home with me and into my home, and I have a family to protect. So by you being responsible and bringing in your own linen and maybe even your own hair cap or whatever it may be within whatever industry you're in, that client touches, that's maybe a good option. And I don't think the clients would be offended. I think they understand this is a short-term way to help us go forward. So, but if we lose that physical touch connection with all these screens and masks, and it's going to be such a sad world to live in, because human touch is so important. It's hard to say what it's going to look like, because with regards to the fact that we can only go back to work at level 1, I don't even know if in 6 months' time we're going to be back at work. And that also just blows my mind. It's terrifying. And I don't know how people are going to be able to wait that long. So I really hope we will be back at work by then. And I think you're going to see a lot of very tired therapists, because it's going to, they're going to need some love. And I think in some ways therapists are going to need some therapy, because we're going to get back to work. We're going to hit the ground running. Our clients have missed us so much. They're going to not be able to, they can't wait to come back. And we're going to be so busy, and it's going to be amazing. We're going to be so blessed to have that provision. But we need to be careful with ourselves. We need to go gently and to preserve ourselves so that we can continue through those 6 months. But I think it's going to require careful planning, making sure that they book their diaries according to their capacity. And even though we need to make money, we need to look after ourselves. But I definitely think sterilization is going to be absolutely key to the nth degree where, I mean, that month of March before we locked down, my hands were peeling from the amount of, I wash my hands 500 times a day. I'm not one for politics at all because it gets messy and it's just a crazy, you can't understand it. There's just so many elements. So, but how I feel about this is that I'm very sad to see the way the world sees therapists. I understand that it's not essential to have your nails done or your hair done. I'm the first one to admit that we can live without nails, we can live without blonde hair, we can live without that beautiful new tattoo that means so much to you because your mother just passed away. Like, you know what I mean? Like all these elements. But what people fail to recognize about us as therapists and what we do is that people come to us looking for connection. They come to us looking for just someone to listen and love them in that time. And to go and see a psychologist is quite, it costs a lot of money, so we're a much cheaper option for therapy. And, we do a really good job at what we do. I can't tell you the amount of people that have come to me suffering with migraines because their neck is in spasm. I've given them a massage and they've left there feeling amazing and the headache's gone. And yet I'm not considered essential, but a chiropractor is. But I still help people relieve pain. So it's very hard for us to, and it's not to be angry with the other industries because I'm stoked that people get to work and do what they do, but I'm upset that the government hasn't placed value on how essential we are to people's minds. They've set up these helplines for suicide helplines and all that, and yet they forget what we do for people on a daily basis. I've probably saved more marriages than I can count just by the chats I've had with my clients and, being there for them and being just a listening ear. And yeah, I suppose I could do that on a Zoom meeting, but it's different when you connect and hold someone by the hand and just say, I'm here for you. And or make them feel beautiful, because there's nothing better than waking up in the morning. I don't care what anyone says. If you've had eyelash extensions, that you just feel like, I've got this, big girl panties on, I look hot, and I'm going to get on with my day. And that might feel, some people might think that's just being vain, but there's just something about feeling beautiful as a woman, or there's something about going to have a tattoo to relieve pain from loss that you've experienced, or whatever it is that you're going to people in our industry that are not seen as essential. And I've cried tears over this because, just because we didn't study for 7 years to become people more in a medical field with big degrees doesn't mean we aren't important and that what we do is not important. We don't just paint nails. We change people's lives by the discussions we have and the connections we make. And of course, any job's essential because we put food on the table. There are children starving right now because their mom, who is a hairdresser, couldn't go to work today. I mean, that's big. And I'm sorry that I'm getting emotional about it, because we are so important, because we have families, and the government took that from us by not finding value in what we do. And people are so quick to say, but you touch people. But what about that ATM you just touched? and the shop assistant didn't clean it? What about the bottle of milk you just took off the shelf and nobody sterilized it after you touched that? What about the dentist you just went to see and they gave you a root canal, but they're like right in your mouth? I understand they're essential, you're in pain from your tooth, but they still touched you. How do you justify that? You know, and that's been the difficult thing that we've struggled with our government in the decision-making process, and the trauma we are experiencing, and the idea that we are level 1. It's so traumatic to not know what your future holds because they're controlling it. It's the most mind-blowing thing, and not being able to plan ahead. I mean, we plan our lives daily by booking appointments, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10. We live by structure. We have to be organized. It makes us efficient in what we do. And so that's in us, in our character. And if you are not that way inclined naturally, you're probably not running a very successful salon. And so to not have a date in mind of when we can go back and start working and earning an income is just one of those elements that is driving us crazy.
If there's anything during this time that you want to ask me a question about, I've got the time to do tutorials, and I'm really enjoying connecting with people online like this.
So here's what I think about that, is that you, across the board, when you're going to sit down with your budget post-COVID, because we all have to now really get real about how we spend money, you're going to look at what's important to you. And I like to think that even though people see our industry as a luxury, and it's the first thing to fall away. I mean, there's been many times over the years where I've had clients that have given up their lashes because at that time they couldn't afford it. And I'm the first one to support that, because I myself have had to cut back on certain things at various seasons in my life. But I don't think that we will see such a massive decline in the commitment to that being part of their budget, just because they've probably really missed it and realized how good it makes them feel and how nice it is to look good and feel good. And that element of, as cliched as it sounds, look good, feel good, we can't doubt for a second that it's not true. I mean, all these exercise 21-day plans, which turned into times 3, you know, people want to look good. Why are they doing all those exercise routines, whatever? They want to look good because it makes them feel good. And I think nails, hair, waxing, lashes, even, you know, having to, those things make them feel good. And so each to their own. It's going to be a very unique way of looking at their budget. But from the feedback I'm getting, the messages I receive every day, I can't wait to have my lashes back. It's very encouraging. I definitely do, because we love what we do and we are desperate to go back to it, and we will make it work. We will. There's absolutely no doubt that by us not being able to work now and it being taken away from us, and the craziness of the idea of level 1 is going to affect what we intend to do when we go back and how much we love and appreciate our jobs. And just by that mere fact, we will rise and get back to being awesome and doing what we do best. So definitely, you know, therapists are amongst the most resilient because we have an insane amount of grit, because we are all entrepreneurs owning small businesses. And even if you work for somebody in the industry, you're dealing so closely with so many different personalities every day that you've got to be quite quick on your feet on how to change and adapt to the different person that walks into your treatment room, because every single client is so different, and that in itself makes us resilient human beings. So my hashtag for many years that I've always loved is hashtag let's make it better together. I've used it many times in my life, and more so than ever, I think we've really had to rally around each other and support one another. And I just want to encourage everyone to don't stop doing that. liking and sharing a post of a business is so awesome. Shopping local, shopping from small businesses, small business owners and services are going to take the lead, and I really believe that we are going to come a long way post-lockdown, because people really want to support that. And of course, they're still going to shop at the big chains, but I just want to say to people, think about what you are supporting when you buy from a small business. That is somebody that is working really hard to look after their family. They wake up every morning really not knowing how much money they're going to make, because they don't earn a salary. And I think if people continue to shop local, support small businesses, they're going to make real dreams come to life. And it's exciting, and it's so appreciated. So the next time you head for the shops or to a place for something that you want service for, first think about the avenue that you want to take and the business you want to support, and start small. Always start small, because it makes big impact.
I miss you all so much. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait.